Chapter 266 Shadowhunter Outpost Tour. In Shadowhunter Outpost, Maximus and Sky suddenly appeared in an underground part of the outpost. Aha! Maximus and Sky begin to adjust themselves to the atmosphere of the Abyss realm. I wonder how the progress of the outpost is, Sky muttered as she looked around. Let's look for the others first, Maximus said. After they left, his family should have gone to the Arcane Continent and straight to the Abyss realm. Ahem. Maximus quickly called Andrew to the underground base. A guild leader. Andrew greeted. Nodding at Andrew, Maximus looked at the person beside him. I didn't expect you to arrive here this early. I just came here 5 years ago. It seems that you're out of seclusion, Silas greeted. Maximus already knew that Silas had arrived here earlier. He only acted surprised to hide the fact that he had been to the Ethereum realm. How is the Abyss realm so far? Maximus asked as they walked to the surface. It's been all right, Silas shook his head. Coming to the Abyss realm, he had the support of the Shadowhunter Guild. All the items and information were already provided by him. How can the environment here still stump him? Even the crystal merit that he needed was readily provided to him. It can be said that coming here is no different from coming home. How about Ragnar? Did he also come here? Yes, he was with his father, fighting in the Purgatory lair. It's a pity. Do you think we can invite him to join the guild? It should be impossible, Silas said after some thought. Go. Soon, they walked toward the surface. Different from decades ago, there were more runic lines, architecture, and arrays around. When do you think the outpost would be finished? In about 10 to 15 years, it should be done, Silas estimated. Coming here, he was the main organizer of the outpost construction beside Eternal Voyager. Thus he knew everything from the inside and outside of the outpost, and when would it be finished? So soon? Maximus was a little shocked. He thought that it would take at least 50 years more before the outpost would be finished. He didn't expect that it would be finished soon. It seems that having you here is indeed right, Maximus praised, patting Silas. It's nothing. Soon, a few months had passed. With Maximus' connections all over the Abyss, his family was quickly transferred to the Shadowhunters Guild without delay. A husband. A dad. A father-in-law. A grandpa. The group greeted happily seeing him. How is your stay in the Abyss? Maximus asked in concern. There was no problem, many were quite good to us, Hazel said. That's right, Dad. I didn't expect your influence to reach even the most remote outpost in the Abyss realm, Liam sighed. They only arrived here after a few months because the teleportation array was not always active. However, their father found them just after they came to the Abyss realm. This is all because of money. Lux muttered. After inquiring about the method that their father used, it's nothing but money. Anyone who can find and care for them will receive a huge reward ranging from $1 billion to trillions depending on the danger of the outpost. Naturally, even desperados were like grandsons in front of them, hoping to take care of them until old age. Lux can only sigh at the power of money. Enough of that. How about I take you around the outpost? Soon, Maximus took his family around various facilities within the outpost. The surface of the outpost is divided into 4 layers, with the residence section in the center. The residence section is also divided into 3 parts. First is for Maximus and family, the second is for guild core members, and the rest is for others. It has the strongest protection mechanism, capable of withstanding multiple Apex Sovereign attacks. It's also fully furnished, with all the amenities and facilities you could find in Ethereum realm. Second, he took his family to the integrated training sector, the second layer of the outpost. It is equipped with the most advanced training equipment you can get in the Ethereum realm and more. There is a real-time combat measuring machine, virtual mirror avatar, infinite gravity chamber, disaster-grade environmental simulator, etc. More importantly, it also has an Abyss monster generator. By combining multiple Abyss source and with a little bit of manipulation, the facility can produce a designated Abyss monster up to Tier 8 Lord level. Besides the combat facilities, there are also healing facilities. It can heal the lightest injuries to semi-permanent injuries that the Abyss monster can inflict. In this integrated facility, there is also a progress ranking system. Each milestone you finish will be rewarded and ranked. This is mostly so that Maximus can solicit high-quality guild members. After all, for them, resources are not enough, they also need a good training environment. After the training section is the entertainment section. If his family was nonchalant with the integrated training section, then they were wide-eyed here. The biggest attraction of the entertainment section is food. Nearly one-third of the place is about food and drinks. These foods were not merely produced by automated food producing alchemy products. They were handcrafted products that he bought for big bucks in the Myriad World Mall. Unfortunately, it was too expensive. To eat here, one would need to pay a huge amount of shadow coins. Shadow coins are the currency used by the Shadow Hunter Outpost and all the guild properties. It is also the payment that the workers in the outpost receive. It can be said that Maximus is really bold, using his own currency to break the crystal merit monopoly. In the past, many tried to do this, but because of their limited capability and service use, such currency is not much of use. Even the Ethereum Gold Chamber of Commerce, famous for monopolizing currency, failed to do so. Even if there is, it was only limited to their internal use and not suitable for outsiders. Because of this, many people were jealous of Maximus. After promoting the shadow coin, Maximus can arbitrarily set its value and print more money as he wanted. Of course, one wrong misstep in such currency will crash. Furthermore, with the function of crystal merits, it would never be obsolete no matter what. Besides the food, the entertainment section also had music, dancing, games, movies, etc. Unfortunately, all of it was run by puppets. There was a lack of manpower everywhere. Maximus can't waste it just for entertainment, at least right now. Finally, the last layer of the outpost is the barrier and defense section. This section is an unmanned part of the outpost, solely being controlled by Eternal Voyager. It is equipped with dozens of heavenly grade Tier 9 weapons capable of fighting back-to-back with a Tier 9 Abyss monster. Mortal, Heaven, Dimensional, Ultimate. It can even disintegrate Tier 8 Lord-level Abyss monsters without an Abyss source. Unfortunately, each time these weapons are fired, it is equivalent to burning money. Any harvest afterward would not even be worth anything comparable to the ammunition it fired. There are also thousands of mortal-grade Tier 9 weapons all around the outpost for regular defense. Unlike the heavenly-grade weapons, these weapons do not consume much energy. The self-generation of the outpost's core is enough to maintain the usual consumption of these weapons. As for dimensional-grade weapons? Although Maximus is rich, he is not that rich. Dimensional-grade weapons were already on another level. They were too expensive that Maximus could advance to Tier 8 before even being able to afford them. After visiting the defense layer, Maximus and his family came back to their residence. They didn't bother to visit the underground layer of the outpost as it was not yet finished. Moreover, it was mainly support facilities, storage, energy section, and such. Looking at their new home, his family couldn't help but sigh. From the remote island in the Cursed Continent to the most prosperous land in the Arcane Continent. And now, they were in such a grand outpost in the Abyss realm. Looking at their husband/father, who took them through all of it, they couldn't help but sigh in admiration. All of the things that they had right now were given by such a man like it was nothing. Thinking of it, they couldn't help but ask if their father/husband needed something. "Do I need something?" Maximus was taken aback by their question. "I don't need anything. As long as I have you, I will be content." Seriously, we just want to help you," Isabella said seriously. "That's right, Dad. You've always given to us. We also want to help you," Lily agreed. Furthermore, we are also quite strong. We are not the ones in the past that needed your protection from everything," Lily continued. The others also looked at him seriously, waiting for his answer. Even his in-laws and grandchildren fell into silence, waiting for his answer. Looking at them, Maximus fell into deep thought. Thinking about it, his wives, children, and grandchildren had grown up. They were already Tier 7 and had awakened their special physique. In the Abyss realm, they should be in the top ranks when it comes to strength. Maximus didn't need to pamper them any longer. They also had their own thoughts and needs, he didn't need to suppress it and protect them from everything. After deep thought, he said, "I need money and a huge amount of it." Chapter 267 Money-Making Scheme. Money? They were a little shocked hearing that their husband/father needed money. The richest being in their impression, who regarded money as dung, needed money? Is this a joke? Did they have a hearing problem? "What do you need money for, Dad?" Lux asked. "I need to advance to Tier 8 quickly." So that's it?" We thought there was a problem." They heaved a sigh of relief, hearing that Maximus only needed it to advance to Tier 8 faster. Coming here, of course, they knew the use of crystal merits. Upon further thinking, their father/husband should be in a hurry to advance to take care of something in the Ethereum realm. How much do you need, father? Lux asked as if he could afford it. Just 100 quintillion, Maximus answered nonchalantly. A 100 quintillion? Hearing the amount, they couldn't help but take a deep breath. How do you think you can help me earn that amount? Maximus said teasingly. The group paused as they fell into thought. Previously, they thought their father/husband only needed a few quadrillion crystal merits. With their current strength, they could earn trillions monthly if they fought in the abyss full-time. With over a dozen of them, earning a few quadrillion would only take a few years. However, hearing that it was in quintillions, they nearly despaired at the amount. Even Lux, who was confident about earning money, frowned. Do you have a time limit, Dad? Lux asked. Less than 100 years, Maximus said, not sure. That means to help their father, they needed to earn at least 10 quadrillion monthly. Calculating such a huge amount, beads of sweat began to appear on Lux's forehead as his special physique was running at full capacity. Finally, after a few minutes, Lux was able to calculate how they could earn such a huge amount. The Outpost, his father's unknown source of wealth, their special physique, their professions, opportunities in the abyss realm. Various pieces of information appeared in his mind on how he could earn such a massive amount of wealth. Of course, it was not easy. According to his calculation, they would offend many people if they proceeded on the path that he thought of. Lux could only pin his hopes on his father to take on all the obstacles. How is it? Maximus asked, seeing that Lux seemed to have thought of a plan. I got it, Lux nodded and told them the plan. I see. Maximus nodded, hearing the plan. The fault tolerance of the plan mainly depended on him. If he can take on all the dangers, then there is no problem. Nonetheless, if he didn't want to take on a considerable risk, he could lower the amount of money needed. Anyway, it depends on how much his shop in Myriad World Mall earns money. He mainly wanted his family to exercise their ability for the future. All in all, everything was in his control, so there was not much danger. What do you think? Maximus turned his head to his wives. Leave it to us, husband. It's just right for the profession we learned to generate some money. Maybe this is also an opportunity to further our profession. His wife smiled and nodded in a reassuring tone. What about you? Leave it to us, Dad. The things we learned at Origin Arcana Institutes are not just for show. How exciting it is to earn money. Soon, a few days passed, with his wives and children thinking of a way to earn money. In the specialized cooking building in their residence, entering, Maximus saw Erica frowning as different ingredients lay on the ground. How is it? Maximus asked. I don't know what to make. Erica said sadly. Originally, Erica planned to set up a restaurant to earn money. However, after consulting with his son Lux, she knew that wouldn't work. After all, she only had one body. Even if she overworked herself, she could only earn a few trillion, which is far from enough. However, earning money would be easy if she created a snack or preserved food that could be popular in the abyss realm. What's the problem? It's the source of ingredients. The source of ingredients in the abyss realm is too limited. The available ones are too common. If I make do with them, it wouldn't be successful. Oh, is that it? Maximus smiled, hugging her from behind. What do you mean you have a supply of ingredients? Erica's eyes lit up, turning around to look at him. Yes. As long as you... Maximus whispered some words. Are you for real? Erica asked with a blush, confirming his words. I have all the ingredients you can name, Maximus bragged. With Myriad World Mall, the supply of Abyss Realm ingredients was a piece of cake. Then we... A few days later. After solving the ingredients problem, Erica quickly returned to work with confidence. A factory was also quickly built within the stronghold in preparation for food production. As Maximus looked at his wife's progress, he couldn't help but frown. Erica, Angeline, and Irene were fine as they studied the production profession. For the others, it was not too good. Either their profession was used for battle or was too singular and couldn't earn money. Although Maximus didn't need them working to earn money, he didn't want to discourage them from it either. In the night, as they went to bed, Maximus asked if they encountered any problems. Husband, I also want a supply of materials. Is that okay? Angeline asked coquettishly, embracing his arms. Angeline's profession was an alchemic seamstress. The business idea she envisioned was mass-producing clothes and accessories. Although there was a lot of competition. If she could get Maximus's unique special channel, coupled with her creative ideas, her business would surely be hot. Sure, just tell me what materials you need. Maximus nodded. What about me? I also want supplies. Irene looked at him pitifully. Her profession is alchemic herbalist. Unlike pioneering alchemists, it mainly deals with herbs and poison. It's a unique profession that deals with all kinds of poison, whether it's for killing or healing. She planned to create poison used to kill the abyss monster en masse. Unfortunately, the resources needed were too expensive to be worth it. Maybe she could synthesize cheaper poisons if she had more unique herbs and plants. Anything for you. Maximus then turned his attention to others. You know you don't need to earn money, Maximus said, hoping to comfort them. No, we want to help you. Rose said stubbornly. Although we only know how to fight, we can help you too, Isabella added. Rose and Isabella had nothing to do with the auxiliary profession at all. One was a berserk mage and the other was a battle mage. They can only fight like the others if they want to earn money. Unfortunately, it was too slow to earn crystal merits that way. Their husband's puppet army was more efficient than a dozen of them combined if that happened. I can heal too. I can set up a hospital or something, Emma said tearfully. Emma really had nothing to do, she couldn't fight nor can heal. Her profession is a life warden specializing in healing all kinds of wounds or diseases. It didn't have much enhancement when it came to fighting. For healing, she was only a Tier 7 life warden. Most of her husband's weird machine was more proficient than her when it came to healing. We can also set up a concert or something. Luna said embarrassingly. Why yes, I'll follow sister and play music, Lydia muttered. Ahem, I didn't mean to discourage you, Maximus said in distress. Luna and Lydia can only dance and sing for him, no one else can. Seeing his wives who wanted to prove something, he sighed. What I mean is you don't need to earn money specifically. Ew? What do you mean? Hazel asked excitedly. She was also useless like Emma, her profession was mentor. Besides teaching their children, she didn't have any teaching experience. And teaching in the abyss realm, where most beings had more experience and power than her. She didn't think so. Now, hearing that her husband didn't specifically need money, she became excited. I mean, I don't need money, I also need resources. The abyss source? They suddenly thought. After a few months of examining their husband's property, they saw that Maximus had a huge obsession with the abyss source. Although it's a much-needed rare resource, their husband seemed obsessed with it. That's right, Maximus confirmed. He really needed the abyss source, in fact, much more than crystal merits. After all, he had many ways to earn crystal merits but little channels to get abyss source. No matter how much he multiplied the prize, most top guilds and powerhouses were stubborn and didn't leak anything. Hearing Maximus's confirmation, his wife smiled. Great, with this, we can help you. If it comes to earning money, we may be stuck, but when it comes to fighting, no one can defeat us. Although they knew that to get an abyss source, they needed to fight stronger abyss monsters or an abyss horde, it was nothing. With the awakening of physique and a solid foundation, there was not much danger. Furthermore, as they fought, they could also try and create their own domain. After all, their domain is still the prototype of origin domain, not their own. Then leave it to me. I'll take them to find abyss monsters. Sky said confidently. As Sister Sky, we will be in your care from now on, Jane laughed as she took Sky's arms. Hehe, fighting is much more fun than earning money. Chapter 268 Business Progress. A few months later, Maximus finally saw his children, who had been away for months. Where have you been? Dad. All things are finished. Lila muttered happily as she clung to him. What's finished? We finished shopping, I mean working, Lila said embarrassingly. So you left me just to go shopping? Maximus asks as he acts sadly. Sister, don't listen to Dad. Sophistry. Asha said, clinging to him and with a pout. Dad, you play with Mother every time and don't care about what we are doing. Of course, I know what you are doing, I was just asking to confirm, Maximus said helplessly. Although he didn't dare to put micro-surveillance bots in every city to gather information. There is still the Shadow Hunter Pavilion for him to get information. In the mission task board on every Shadowhunter pavilion, every piece of information an individual provides will be rewarded with shadow coins, regardless of how trivial it is. It could be gossip between neighbors, rising prices, a fight between two beings, or even what an individual had eaten that day. When it comes to information, Maximus utilized the money to its maximum capacity. The Shadowhunter Pavilion even became a major intelligence organization because of this. Ahem. You don't love us anymore, Asha still pouted. That's right, Dad, you're so partial. Lila quickly agreed. This, Maximus just shook his head at his two clingy daughters. What about me, grandfather? Did you forget me? Lila asked, taking no for an answer. Of course not. How could I forget my lovely granddaughter? Ahem. Kokvish brat. Asha muttered, flicking Lila's head. Anyway, how is your progress? Do you have any problems? Maximus turned to Liam and Lux. These two were fully engaged in work, asking for his permission everywhere. We already finalized it, and we have no problems so far, Liam said. These past few months, they scour and analyze every city to proceed with their plan. Of course, most of them just went on tours, indulging in eating, drinking, and shopping to their heart's content. Ayo? Did you already finalize it? Maximus asked with interest. Yes, there are already over 1,000 Shadowhunter hubs in construction in the boundary and middle layer, Liam iterated. Shadowhunter hub is different from an outpost. It's a mini-integrated hub in the Abyss realm for others to rest. It allows beings all over the Abyss realm to go farther than their designated outpost. In the past, they were limited to only a few million kilometers around their outpost, like a caged bird. This is because of the danger in the Abyss realm and, more importantly, the Abyss aura. It can devour everything from their body to the very body. Without a place to resist this problem, they can't go far. However, after the Shadowhunter outpost is finished, people can go beyond the limit. After traveling a few million kilometers, they can just go to a hub closest to them if they need to rest or replenish their supplies. This revolutionary idea was, of course, not done the first time. Many tried to do this, but limited by their financial ability and manpower, it was not so successful. Even if they built it, it was only for their private use to mine important resources far from their outpost. The resources and manpower needed to build a hub were simply massive for it to be worth anything. Building a hub was equivalent to burning money. After all, for the hub to work, it needed to resist the Abyss aura and defend itself from monsters. Otherwise, it would be a joke even if it had the most advanced facilities. For Maximus, this was not a problem. With multiple dimensions that had access to the Abyss realm as his source, the materials needed to build a hub are not very expensive. All in all, a hub is a mini-outpost. Of course, as a mini-outpost, it doesn't have its most important component, a teleportation array. A teleportation array is the most essential component of any outpost or city in the Abyss realm. Even if you only had a teleportation array in your place, it would already be a functional outpost. However, the materials needed to build an Abyss teleportation array are scarce. This is also the limitation to the expansion of the number of outposts. Even now, after countless epochs, there are not even 1 billion outposts in the Abyss realm, much less a city. There were only thousands of them. This is why even if Maximus can buy materials for the Abyss teleportation array, he doesn't dare. He can only resort to a mini-outpost, a hub for now. What about the function of the hub? Have you thought of it? Maximus asked. Don't worry, Father, I thought of this comprehensively. In the future, these hubs will be our money-making machines, Lux said confidently. So confident? Ahaha, the hub I planned has everything, the unique products created by our mothers, the rare resources you provided, plus many added services. For example, an arena, training facilities, entertainment facilities, plantation, etc. The most important thing is the shadow coin, Lux said excitedly. All of the other things are miscellaneous compared to shadow coins. This is a currency. Their very own currency. Just hearing the name, every cell in his body began to tingle. This is not simply money. It's a divine tool to absorb all kinds of resources. Thinking his father uses it to acquire some useless Abyss source and issues missions from here and there. Lux can only shake his head at his father's lack of business sense. With this shadow coin and his father's support, he can finally realize his ambition of controlling the world through money. Of course, he's still far away from it, he is merely daydreaming now. Seeing Lux's euphoria, Maximus was sure this brat was thinking about money again. Anyway, I will leave everything to you brats, Maximus said reassuringly. Just leave me here with your mother to enjoy life. Soon, years began to pass by. Maximus' family fully settled in the Abyss realm like their own home. With various information that Maximus got from Surveillance bot. His wives and children in a team harvested Abyss source equivalent to over 10 billion system points monthly. This is still because they were in the middle layer, lacking a high-quality Abyss source. Of course, Maximus didn't dare to send them to fight in the Purgatory layer either. It was simply too dangerous. Now, in the middle layer, most of the Abyss sources he found were 1,000,000 kilometers to trillions of kilometers away. If this distance were in the Purgatory layer, they would probably die after traveling for a few billion kilometers. If not for the unique property of their cultivation method, they could not even resist the corrosive aura of the Abyss, much less travel that far. It could be said that their team is unique. Undamaged from the Abyss aura, undefeated to Abyss monsters. Fortunately, no one knew such things. Otherwise, many people would be in doubt and interrogate them a few times. After all, only a Tier 9 Apex Sovereign can be unaffected by the Abyss aura. It would be revolutionary if others could also resist the Abyss aura on their own without using any energy. They can even treat the Abyss realm as their home and multiply until they can occupy the Abyss. The origin was truly unique in their regard. Just being immune to all kinds of energy is already like a bug. Aside from them, his wives and children with production professions began to produce their results. Erica already had over a dozen delicious foods being produced in the factory. With all kinds of unique, delicious food being sold all over the Abyss, Erica can earn trillions daily. Angeline also produced her masterpiece, a bracelet that can resist Abyss aura with limited mana, using crystal merits as energy. Although it was not a mass-produced product like she envisioned. In every auction, it was a highly sought-after item prized in trillions. In return, many became jealous and hoped to reverse engineer the item. Unfortunately for them, after they succeeded, what greeted them was a bunch of expensive and a few unknown Abyss resources. As for Irene, she also mass-produced poison that can kill Tier 1 to Tier 3 Abyss monsters. This was a major milestone for the beings of the Ethereum realm. It means that these cannon-fodder Abyss monsters were no longer a problem. It was like the ants and rats in the house were gone. After all, although these Abyss monsters were nothing to them, they were bothersome. When traveling, just moving from place to place was a hell. Level task. An endless number of these flies poured like water, hindering them from moving. Unfortunately, as the Abyss aura can independently produce them, they could not be exterminated. Now that there is such an effective poison, how can they not be happy? Many also tried to reverse engineer the poison. Unfortunately, like the bracelet that can resist Abyss aura, they were destined to be disappointed. Many rare and unknown herbs were found in the poison, rendering them powerless. They could only shake their heads in distress and marvel at how Maximus could find such resources. His wives earned about 100 trillion every month with all these products. Although it was still far from their goal of earning at least 10 quadrillion every month, they were already satisfied. After all, they also had their children and grandchildren to rely on. Otherwise, what's the use of these brats they painstakingly raised for? Chapter 269 Business Progress 2. Besides his wives, his children also created something worthy of attention. First, Lily, with her profession as a material and natural alchemist, created a set of bizarre biological eyes. Their function is similar to the microsurveillance bots Maximus created. However, unlike his bots, these biological eyes are not affected by the Abyss aura. Furthermore, regardless of the distance, as long as the biological eye has energy, it can emit signals for long-distance reconnaissance. Of course, it also has weaknesses. It is too expensive. Unlike Maximus's microsurveillance bots, which only use atomic god metal and some miscellaneous materials. Creating one biological eye is equivalent to creating a Tier 8 alchemy item. Nonetheless, it became famous after its release. Now, it is a must-have item when venturing into the Abyss realm. Even though it costs billions, it becomes a sought-after item as soon as it is released. Fortunately, this time, the top guild was able to reverse engineer and create it. However, they still face the old problem because many rare and unknown Abyss materials are needed. Creating one is very expensive. Most would rather wait and buy one from the Shadow Hunter Pavilion than create it. However, for those who can't wait, regardless of the price, manufacture it independently. There was also his daughter Lydia, a pure natural alchemist. His daughter was as lovely as usual and created a purifying tree. This tree can absorb abyss aura and exhale pure mana. This kind of wonder was first seen in the abyss. Although many items can purify the abyss, they are all artificial and require some energy or mechanism. However, these trees' energy source is the abyss aura itself. This has a huge implication. If this kind of tree is planted all over the abyss, it can turn this hell into a paradise. Of course, Lydia did not entirely create this tree, she only strengthened it. This kind of tree has long since existed in the Ethereum realm, specifically the Curse continent. It was mutated after a long precipitation of time and the magic of the amalgamation of will. Unfortunately, its capability to absorb abyss aura was too weak to be noticed. Lydia was merely curious about the tree and took it out in her small world to study. Coming to the abyss after a long time of study and various experiments, the tree's ability to absorb the abyss aura was somewhat enhanced. Unfortunately, even then, such a tree was just redundant. Even if every inch of land in the abyss were planted with this tree, it wouldn't be able to withstand the abyss's natural energy production. However, such a tree is not without hope. After Lydia had more knowledge, she could further enhance its capability, creating a biological weapon that could purify the abyss. Thus, with little use, such a tree was merely a decorative plant and was not popular. Maximus didn't dissuade his daughter either. In fact, if Maximus had spare time, he would also like to study these miraculous trees. Maybe in the near future, it can be used as a main weapon in the abyss. Not just this piece of the abyss realm near the Ethereum realm but the whole abyss dimension. Luke, his son, who has a passion for machines, also created something truly remarkable. He developed a transportation vehicle that the abyss aura couldn't corrode. It was a remarkable achievement that, if known, would shock the world. With these vehicles, there is no need to stay in any outpost. One can simply rest in their vehicle when tired and get going into the depths of the abyss. Unfortunately, to create one of these vehicles costs hundreds of trillions. Further considering the manpower needed, Maximus shelved this product for their exclusive use. Releasing this high-profile item to the masses is not feasible, as most of its core components are usually found in the depths of the abyss. Maximus even estimated that some materials can only be found in the main abyss dimension. Now, 3 of these vehicles are already used by his family for daily travel. Thanks to them, trillions of kilometers can be covered within just a few days, providing more abyss sources to harvest. Besides his 3 children who created something worthwhile, the others were mainly fighting in the abyss to get some abyss source. Some also had their duties and goals. Like Liam and Lux, who oversaw the construction of the Shadowhunter hubs. These 2 sons of his were so addicted to construction that their feet never touched the ground. Even Liam's 2 wives often complained because of their workaholic husband. Of course, they were merely ranting, they already knew the nature of their husband through and through. Working seems to be his natural breathing rhythm. There is also Neo and Syra, who were in charge of the entire family's source of intelligence. Syra was responsible for the expansion and reorganization of the information-gathering capacity of the Shadowhunter Pavilion. It seems that her daughter was talented in this regard. As a result, the information-gathering capability of the pavilion has skyrocketed by a large degree. On the other hand, Neo analyzes and summarizes every piece of intelligence gathered by the Shadowhunter Pavilion. With the awakening of Neo's physique, Heaven's calculation, such a task became a piece of cake. By now, his brain can process and analyze billions of pieces of information every second, like a human supercomputer. Because of this, the Abyss realm seems open to them. Any trouble can be solved without it even happening. All kinds of resources can be intercepted before they reach their destination. Various hidden agendas are not concealed and can be perfectly resolved. It also makes their progress smooth sailing as if they were not in the Abyss realm. Besides them, there are also Asha and Lila, who didn't fight the Abyss monsters. These 2 spoiled brats are shopping and playing all over the cities and outposts in the Abyss realm as if it's their home. Fortunately, they haven't encountered any danger yet due to their luck and beauty. Time passed. 10 years since Maximus returned to the Abyss realm. In a Shadowhunter hub somewhere in the Abyss, Zack and his team of 5 are in trouble. "Leader, what should we do?" his teammate Seabass said in a hurry. Unknowingly, they have come so far away from their outpost that they don't have enough supplies to return. Staying here without supplies, they would be devoured by the Abyss sooner or later. "It's because of you, Dylan. If not for your good idea, we would not have come here." What about me? I was just talking nonsense. Who knew we would really come here?" Dylan sighed in despair. All right, that's enough, Zack said coldly. What do you mean, leader? We were about to die, and you still tell us to shut up? Seabass said, defying his leader. That's right. If not for your command, we wouldn't be here. Asai, is there still any hope? Zack didn't continue to speak and just looked at them coldly. After a few minutes of silence, the others finally relented and asked for his opinion. Leader, what do you think we should do? Zack, straight face. Leader, stop acting coldly and tell us what you think. Zack, straight face. Leader, come back with us. We still need you. What's the matter? I thought you forgot that I was still your leader, Zack said coldly. We're merely venting, leader. Everything is still up to you, as Seabass and the others apologized. Leader, come on, tell us your plan. Seeing that they finally calmed down, Zack continued to speak. Do you think I would agree with Dylan's stupid idea if I didn't have a plan? Zack's answer seemed to be a life-saving straw as their despair had vanished. Near around here is a branch of the Shadowhunter Hub. A Shadowhunter Hub? Is it public, leader? Can we get inside and exchange some supplies? They asked excitedly, hearing that there was a hub near them. A Shadowhunter Hub is a property of Shadowhunter Pavilion. It was a public hub built over a year ago, becoming the heaven and hell for us travelers. TSK, you should read the news from time to time. You don't even know this vital piece of information. How can you live in the future? Zack advised. I got it, leader. Leader, this is your job, we just need to fight. As expected of the leader, you're quite knowledgeable. The group quickly flattered their leader, hoping to get his forgiveness. Should we get there immediately? By the way, how do we get there? Suddenly, they were stunned, not knowing where the Shadowhunter Hub was. The abyss is like a maze, with various crisscrossing lands constantly moving. Usually, to find an outpost, they had a one-way compass directly pointing to it. As for the Shadowhunter Hub, their compass couldn't detect it. Just leave it to me, I already arranged everything. Zack comforted, taking out a brand new compass. This unique compass could only point toward a Shadowhunter Hub. He bought it from the Shadowhunter Pavilion for a few billion. These billions of crystal merits are already a few years of their income. Thinking of it, he can't help but grit his teeth, cursing the Shadowhunter Pavilion for being a profiteer. They dare to advertise it as a free public resting place, yet a mere positioning compass is priced in billions. If not for their need for such a place, Zack would not even come near such a black shop. Chapter 270 Shadowhunter Hub. Following the compass, they quickly found the Shadowhunter Hub in their area. Look, leader. A mini outpost. There seem to be a lot of people too. Nice. We can finally relax after a few months in this hellish place. As the group celebrated, they quickly reached the entrance of the shelter. Seeing that they were not stopped from coming inside, their smiles widened. Great. Leader, we are finally safe. Seabass said excitedly. Although they knew there was a place for their retreat, it was still uncertain. Now that they are in the actual place, they felt the baggage on their chests lighten. Feeling the pure mana without abyssal aura, they finally felt that they were back in society. Let's buy supplies first, then find a place to rest, Zack suggested. As you said, leader, the others nodded in agreement. Walking around, all the shops seemed to bear the crest of the Shadowhunter Guild. From every building and architecture, the place was fully marked. Finally, after a few minutes of walking, they saw the supply market. In the open-air market, bulks of resources were on display. Prices and brief descriptions of the material were also listed next to them. Shadow coins? Dylan suddenly muttered, noticing the currency. Shadow coins? Do we need that here? Seabass repeated, asking in wonder. As far as he knew, they only had a few shadow coins after exchanging the abyss source in one of the branches of the Shadowhunter Pavilion. If they wanted to get more shadow coins, they either had to gather rare resources or do missions like a bunch of laborers. Furthermore, looking at the prices, it was so expensive compared to the usual prices. This is a black market. No, a black hub. Are you new here? Suddenly, a man came up to them. You are? Zack questioned. Relax, I'm Ethan from Bluestone Squad. My squad mates are resting, so I figured I'd go around a little. Then I saw you looking clueless, so I asked. Is that so? Seabass and the others nodded. By the way, you seem stumped by the prices here? Ethan asked teasingly. It's 3 times the usual price. How can we not be stumped? Furthermore, shadow coins? How would we even get that? Is there a bank here? Oh, indeed. As long as it bears the symbol of the Shadowhunter Guild, you can expect that it was a black price. Like them, Ethan and his team were taken aback by the prices they saw here, causing their blood pressure to rise. Although such a hub would indeed increase their income and safety, it seemed for naught as this greedy shelter cut off their fortune. Fortunately, the one running this place is smart. Although it cut off most of their income, their remaining income was still considerably compared to usual. As for shadow coins, there is indeed a bank here that you can exchange for shadow coins. Can you tell us where it is? Zack asked. You can see a bank in the center of this hub. Thanks. No problem. I would also like to have more fellows here. Ethan waved his hands. Having more people in the outpost would mean less danger. Although there are a lot more resources here than usual, there are also more dangers. If there were more to share their pressure, they would gladly welcome it. After receiving the reminder from Ethan, they temporarily left the supply market to exchange some money. In the bank, there was a line of people exchanging crystal merits for shadow coins. A Shadowhunter Guild is fearless. Zack thought deeply. In the past, they only dared to exchange some shadow coins equivalent to merits in a guild. But now, they were openly exchanging currency like it's nothing. Although it was only in their territory, Zack was sure it was not easy. Indeed, a year ago, when they first openly exchanged currency, they faced attacks from all directions. Different guilds, organizations, and powerhouses came knocking on their door asking for explanations. Maximus even had to fight and show some power so they could back off a little. Unfortunately, there is no such thing as fear in the face of interest. At that time, Maximus even thought of stopping such a crazy plan. After all, the pressure he faced was not worth it just for some immediate interest. Fortunately, it seemed like luck was on his side. Rakasha, the strongest being in the Abyss, the leader of the Ethereum Council, noticed the commotion and decided to intervene. Rakasha used his authority to open the highest-level assembly to discuss this topic. As many were in seclusion or were far away on their missions, the meeting was held off until now. As for the use of shadow coins, Maximus was permitted to continue until they decided otherwise in the assembly. Soon, it was Zack and his squad's turn. Welcome to the Shadowhunter Bank. How may I help you? A puppet said emotionlessly. We want to exchange some shadow coins. Can you first tell us about it? Sure. Shadow coins are the currency used by all establishments established by the Shadowhunter Guild in the Abyss. The exchange ratio is 1 to 100 of crystal merits. You can also exchange shadow coins for crystal merits anytime. Are there any questions? Previously, one could use shadow coins to exchange anything in the Shadowhunter Pavilion. Is this still available using the shadow coins exchanged here? Zack asked thoughtfully. Hearing their leader's sharp question, the others looked seriously at the puppet, waiting for an answer. If shadow coins can still be used to exchange anything in the Shadowhunter Pavilion, then they would earn big time. Thinking of the endless rare materials they could arbitrarily exchange, they couldn't help but drool. By then, their squad would be upgraded by a few levels. No. The simple answer seemed to pierce their hearts as they froze. Zack seemed to have expected it and remained expressionless. The shadow coins you can get in the Shadowhunter Pavilion are specially marked. You can only get them by doing missions or exchanging special resources with the guild. I see. Do you have any more questions? No. Then, are you ready to exchange currency with us? I am here. Zack nodded and threw a storage ring filled with crystal merits. The puppet quickly caught it and put it into a special apparatus. These puppets were only a low-level kind without any spirit property that could independently open storage rings. So a special apparatus is needed. 1,738,468,290 crystal merits. Hearing the amount, Zack's lips twitched a little. Initially, he still had over 6 billion, but because he bought the overpriced positioning compass, their squad's budget shrank considerably. Here is 17,384,682.90. Thank you for trusting our service. After exchanging some currency, they went back to the supply market. With a fire in their chests that couldn't be put out, they bought all the supplies they needed while holding back from cursing. From magic crystals, potions, food, consumable items, traveling gear, etc. Fortunately, the supplies here were quite complete, otherwise, I don't know if I can hold myself from punching someone, Dylan muttered. Damn, don't you see the rules posted on every street? Any destruction of property here requires payment. If you don't want us to go bankrupt, just hold yourself up and shut up. The squad jeered at Dylan while also holding themselves back. Perhaps because of anger, they quickly finished buying the resources they needed in just a few minutes. Of course, the reality was the efficiency of the supply market. Lux ensured that the model here omitted all the processes. You only need to choose and pay, and you're good to go. After shopping, they went to look for a residence to stay. And as they expected, it's another bloody pricing strategy. Since coming here, they felt that their pockets were constantly being targeted. Everywhere you look is temptation, everything you step on has a price, more importantly, it seems that every time they breathe, they have to pay. If not for their leader, Zach, holding them back, the 17 million they just exchanged would reach a negative number in just a night. As they relaxed at the rented residence, they came into a daze as they thought of their future. Leader, what should we do next? Seabass finally asked. We fight, earn more money, then advance, Zach said precisely, too lazy to waste some breath on his stupid squad mates. What do you mean, leader? Can you elaborate? We're too stupid to understand such coded words. Can you repeat that again, leader? Zach sighed, closed his eyes, and slowly explained. We stay here and fight in this greedy land. Here, we can earn more money than we usually do. Finally, after we have enough strength, we leave this godforsaken place. What they didn't know is that this is only the beginning. In the future, they would be lured deeper and deeper into the scheme hidden in the dark to earn more money.